The hardest Christmas of my life began with a phone call I wish I had never answered. My daughter, Emily, didn't even let me finish saying hello before she quietly said, "Dad, please don't come this year. Jason needs some space, and it's better if you stay home." I waited for her to laugh and tell me she was joking, but the silence that followed told me everything. In that moment, I felt like I had lost my family without anyone actually saying the words. If stories about family, love, and second chances mean something to you, I'd be honored if you subscribe to Behind Dad. And before we continue, I want you to know that the pictures shown throughout this video are artistic recreations created to help visualize my memories. They are not real photographs from my personal life. After the call ended, I sat alone in my living room staring at the Christmas tree my late wife and I had decorated every December for more than 30 years. Every ornament carried a memory. Emily's handmade snowflake from first grade still hung near the top. I remembered lifting her onto my shoulders so she could place the star above the tree while she laughed louder than the Christmas music. Looking at those decorations now, I couldn't understand how the little girl who once counted the days until Christmas with me had become the woman asking me not to come at all. I wanted to call her back. I wanted to ask what I had done wrong. Instead, I stayed silent because I knew pain often speaks louder than arguments. The next morning, I carefully wrapped one small gift and mailed it to her without writing a single note. No card, no explanation, just a plain box with her name on it. The clerk smiled and wished me a Merry Christmas as I handed it over. I smiled back, but inside I felt completely empty. I had no idea that when Emily opened that simple package on Christmas morning, her hands would begin shaking so badly that she would spend the entire night desperately trying to call me. And for the first time in her life, I would let every single call go unanswered. Christmas morning arrived, but my house felt quieter than it ever had before. There were no footsteps racing down the hallway, no laughter, no smell of cinnamon rolls baking in the kitchen. I poured myself a cup of coffee and sat beside the tree, wondering how a season that once brought my family together had turned into the loneliest day of my life. Around noon, I checked the package tracking one last time. It had been delivered. I placed my phone on the table and tried not to think about what would happen next. A little while later, my phone lit up with Emily's name. I looked at the screen but didn't answer. A minute later, she called again. Then again. Before evening, there were more than 20 missed calls and several voice messages. I couldn't bring myself to listen to them. My heart told me she had finally opened the gift. That small box didn't contain jewelry or money. Inside was a faded photo album filled with pictures from every Christmas we had shared together, along with the tiny red stocking she had sewn for me when she was 8 years old. Tucked inside the last page was the hospital bracelet her mother had asked me to keep on the day Emily was born. I never wrote a note because I wanted the memories to speak louder than any words I could have chosen. Late that night, I finally listened to one of her messages. She was crying so hard that some of her words were impossible to understand. She kept saying, "Dad, I'm so sorry. Please answer. I need to tell you the truth." Hearing my daughter's voice break like that crushed me. Part of me wanted to call her back immediately. Another part needed to know why she had pushed me away in the first place. Just before midnight, someone knocked on my front door. When I looked through the window, I wasn't expecting to see Emily standing there alone in the falling snow, holding the empty gift box against her chest with tears streaming down her face. For a few seconds, I just stood there looking through the window. My heart wanted to open the door immediately, but the pain I had carried for days held me back. Finally, I unlocked the door. Emily stepped inside, her face red from the cold and from crying. She was still holding the empty gift box, as if it were the most valuable thing she owned. Before I could say a word, she wrapped her arms around me and whispered, "Dad, I made the biggest mistake of my life." I felt her shaking, and for the first time since her phone call, I realized she wasn't just apologizing. She was completely broken. We sat at the kitchen table where she had once done her homework while her mother baked cookies nearby. Emily wiped away her tears and finally told me the truth. Jason had never liked how close we were. After they got married, he slowly convinced her that she needed to choose between building a life with him and staying close to me. At first, his requests seemed small. Then they became demands. Christmas was the final test. He told her that if she invited me, he would leave the house and never come back. Afraid of losing her marriage, she chose him instead of me. The moment she opened my gift and saw those memories, she realized she hadn't protected her marriage. She had abandoned the father who had never abandoned her. Then she reached into her purse and placed a folded envelope on the table. It was a letter written by Jason before he left the house that afternoon. In it, he admitted he had always been jealous of the bond between us. He believed that if he separated us, Emily would depend only on him. Instead, watching her cry over the photo album made him understand what he had destroyed. He packed his belongings and walked away, writing that she deserved the chance to repair the relationship he had helped break. I slowly folded the letter, but before I could say anything, Emily looked into my eyes and asked for one chance to prove that losing my trust would never happen again. I looked at my daughter for a long time before saying anything. Part of me was still hurt, but another part remembered the little girl who used to run into my arms every time I came home from work. I reached across the table and held her trembling hands. "Emily," I said softly, "forgiveness isn't something that erases pain overnight. It takes time, but I refuse to let one terrible Christmas become the ending of our story." The moment she heard those words, she broke down in tears. We hugged each other for what felt like forever, and for the first time in days, the silence between us disappeared. Over the next few months, Emily proved that her apology was more than just words. She visited every weekend, helped me around the house, and never missed another family dinner. We spent hours looking through the old photo album together, laughing at memories that had once seemed lost forever. She admitted she had allowed fear to make decisions that should have been guided by love. Watching her accept responsibility without making excuses slowly healed the wound inside my heart. I didn't get my old Christmas back, but I gained something even more valuable, a daughter who finally understood how precious family truly is. The following December, Emily arrived at my front door carrying a small box wrapped in red paper. Inside was a new family photo frame with a simple message engraved beneath it. "Home is wherever love is never asked to leave." I couldn't hold back my tears. We placed it beside her mother's favorite ornament, and together we lit the Christmas tree just as we had done years before. In that moment, I realized the greatest gifts are never found under the tree. They are found in hearts willing to admit mistakes, ask for forgiveness, and choose love over pride. If my story touched your heart, share your thoughts in the comments because your words might encourage someone facing a broken family relationship. Please share this story with someone who needs hope today. Thank you for spending this time with me on Behind Dad. Never let pride steal the people you love, because some invitations can be replaced, but the chance to love your family while they're still here cannot.